The following is my review of Ghostrunner. If there are any other games you would like me to review, leave a comment down below.
You're alive. Can you hear me?
I just finished playing Ghostrunner, and my goodness, that was fun. Ghostrunner was developed by One More Level, 3D Realms, and Slipgate Ironworks. We play as a Ghostrunner who ascends Dharma Tower in order to liberate someone or something. In this tower, which showcases the beautiful extremes of platforming, we are given enemies, and we are given a sandbox in which we can craft whichever way we want to dispose of them. So I say that with some sourness because the enemies are annoying as shit, but like in the most amazing way ever. The game is difficult, and you will die a lot, and at the end of the level your deaths will display to taunt you for being a poo-butt-ass gamer. I mean, the controls take a few minutes to get used to, so that's not really the difficult part. Each level is like a slow crescendo of repetition, but with insane combat mechanics and movement mechanisms that make the repetitive process not only fun, but kind of addicting. I found myself wanting to die in the levels so I could start over and perfect a pattern of kills. It became like trying to orchestrate beautiful violence. It was like trying to fight like Justin Gaethje, but I kept getting daddy-dicked by an eagle. And sure, there were moments where dying over and over again got frustrating, but those moments seldom existed for longer than a minute. Because within these levels, it's not just mindless murder. You're also taught to respect your environment. While in an astoundingly gorgeous cyberpunk theme, with constantly changing obstacles and periodic setting changes, we are treated to what I call the combat puzzle. This is what Ghostrunner to me does perfectly. You're not just engaged in combat, you're engaged in combat while you're reacting to these objects in your environment that move as quick as you do. When you die enough to learn the level, you're engaging with that level's puzzle, which is typically a matter of how do I get past this puzzle out of the often dozen ways to solve it. You can slice your way through, but never with impunity. You can implement stealth. You can simply use the environment to circumnavigate your enemies. Everything is possible when the cohesion of a gaming studio is on point, and my goodness is it ever on point with this game. I want to transition my focus from the mechanics to the story. I gotta say it's incredibly solid. I wasn't bored or thrown off by any of the writing. It's effective, it's clear, and maybe you can question some of the dialogue of the characters insofar as asking yourselves if that's actually something that character would say. But those moments aren't really a big deal at all, and it definitely doesn't detract from the story in any way, and to be honest, if you're not even looking for them, you won't find them. The literary value here is infinite. We touch on topics ranging from humanity's future to questioning the ethics of technology, but then we could dive deeper and start to extract the more subtle elements, like a master-slave relationship, or the importance of humans in control in an increasingly inhuman world. The story actually alternates with the gameplay, rather fluidly, and never stays long enough to drag you down or annoy you. The exposition is incredibly effective in this alternating style, because it hinges off streamlining what you need to know at the right moments. And while many purists might scoff at that kind of mechanical nature, I think it fits the theme inherently because cyberpunk is mechanical in nature. Okay, this might be a little spoiler, but I'll do my best to keep the details at a minimum. This game employs a method of storytelling where we really only communicate with the characters we meet in-game through our in-suit radio. Now this changes a bit at the end and you'll understand that when you play it, but I would have liked to see more visual representations of the characters in-game. Although that might have detracted from the almost relentless action that the game peppers us with. So that's just a personal preference thing, but other than that the story is what it needs to be, and I thoroughly enjoyed engaging with the narrative elements. I even liked the soundtrack. I don't think any of the songs felt out of place or caused any dissonance of any kind. Honestly, it served mostly to hype my sick-ass movements in-game, and at times I found myself moving to the beat of the game unconsciously. And sometimes I would even try to perform a series of kills to a beat, but that was kind of futile. It was a pleasure to listen to, and if I had any more knowledge on music in general, I would offer more, but that's something I'll work on for future videos. Let's talk about the boss battles. I started off having mixed emotions in that regard. I felt that the difficulty progression of the boss battles were kind of off, like shouldn't the final boss be the hardest? But then I thought it through, and I realized the way they crafted the boss battles was kinda genius. They basically gave you the hardest boss battle first, and then they got progressively less difficult. Besides this bitch. I realized that it's kind of relieving to have a comparatively easier boss battle at the end, to kind of ease you out of the action high you just experienced. I didn't like it at first because to me it didn't make any sense, but then I appreciated it for what it was. Each boss was very different and unique, and at some points it reminded me of Half-Life 2 for some reason. I felt it in the first boss, but then I felt it in the general gameplay afterwards, and then I even felt bursts of nostalgia when I never played anything like that before, but then I realized I did play the iconic Mirror's Edge. And maybe I was feeling these things because the developer's influences were so prevalent throughout the game, and I never actually thought about the influences of any game, because my mind never really goes there. But Ghostrunner consistently made me feel this way, which reminded me just how rich the game truly is. To conclude, I think the developers nailed this game. The tiny imperfections that do exist are just overshadowed by its features. If you have next to no patience, I urge you to try this game cautiously, but if you see it as a challenge and enjoy the fast and brutal nature, you'll love it. I will definitely be playing this game a second and third time. 9 out of 10.
What